Everything, bro, everything.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think so, bro. The only thing that makes you different is your lefty. That's it. You're average, bro. Like you ain't better. You ain't better than Alex Salcedo. You ain't better than Ramirez. You ain't better than a lot of Mike.
I'm gonna knock him out next Saturday.
You don't believe that shit either. Shut up.
I'm gonna knock you out next Saturday.
Bro. Shut up. Don't smoke, bro.
I'm gonna drive back to Chorley Sunday morning with that belt.
You ain't driving back.
A long ass flight for you.
You ain't driving back nowhere. I'm gonna fly home, and this right here has a special seat next to me, bro. Business class by itself. I'm gonna put a seatbelt on it and everything.
What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny. In today's video, we're gonna be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning next weekend's fight in Manchester between Jack Catterall and Arnold Barboza Jr. Before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please hit the subscribe button? You might be following me and watching me without even know you haven't even hit it, as well as like this video and hit the notification buttons. What that little bell will allow me to do is every time I put something out that's new, you'll be the first to be notified. Thank you. Guys, as we continue on our journey of documenting our favorite sport, I'm getting into a better habit of not just focusing on these massive blockbuster fights or not just focusing on American fights. I want to get in the better habit of focusing on the best fighters in the world, and a lot of times some of these fighters and fights don't get enough publicity, so I want to start doing my part. Next weekend in the UK, we have a battle at 140 pounds between the number 1 and number 2 WBO ranked fighters, respectively, and the number 4 and number 10 in the world. And that's Catterall, who's the number 1 ranked WBO fighter and number 4 in the world, and Arnold Barboza Jr., who's number 2 in the WBO and number 10 in the world at 140 pounds. Guys, we have to remember this division over the last 12 months has had a lot of movement. The current champions at 140, you have Teofimo Lopez, Alberto Puello coming off his victory against Gary Antoine Russell. You also have Rayo Valenzuela. Can't forget about Richardson Hitchens, who's coming off an impressive victory against the former champion, Liam Perro. So this fight in Manchester has a lot on the line. This is what I like to call a pecking order fight. You'd have to think it's a title eliminator. Whoever wins this fight should be propelled up, getting a full world title fight. So in this video, we're gonna be going over what each fighter has been up to. We're gonna talk about their wins, their losses. We're gonna talk about where Las Vegas currently has this fight, a little bit of strategy from both fighters, and give you guys, the boxing fans, more importantly, more factual things to talk about when chatting about this fight and these fighters to your mates, not just, oh, I'm going for this guy because I like this guy. That's also one of the reasons why I like doing these videos, is to create a healthy conversation about the sport. Firstly, I want to remind everybody what to expect and what's on the line come next week. Jack Catterall will face Arnold Barboza Jr. in a 140-pound clash in Manchester on the 15th of February. Catterall, who's 30-1 with 13 knockouts, called for a world title fight after a unanimous decision win over Regis Prograis in October, backed up his victory over rival Josh Taylor in May as well. However, a shot at the belt will have to wait at least one more fight, with Barboza Jr., who's 30-0 with 11 knockouts, as a tough test come next weekend. Remember, guys, in the WBO, Teofimo Lopez is the champion. Promoter Eddie Hearn floated the prospect of fighting Lopez after the win over Prograis. A fight against the winner of Liam Perro's IBF title defense against Richardson Hitchens on December 7th was also mooted at the time. Hitchens won the fight via split decision to take the IBF belt. The win over Prograis, a former 2-time world champion, started off cagey before Catterall dropped his opponent to the canvas twice in round 9 and showed he can mix it up with the top fighters in the division. After the fight, Prograis labeled Catterall his toughest opponent, and I quote, "Jack was the better man. I'm not gonna lie. He deserves a world title shot," Prograis said in the aftermath. "To be honest, I fought the best of them so far. I think Jack is probably the best I have fought." Guys, this is gonna be a classic matchup of a southpaw in Catterall and orthodox in Arnold Barboza. Barboza is gonna be the little bit taller fighter. With Jack Catterall, this guy isn't going to output you to death. He is a thinker within the ring. He is methodical, and he likes picking his shots. So in terms of total punches, he doesn't waste a lot. But when he does fire, he usually lands. His accuracy is some of the best in the division. Because he's a southpaw, he likes loading up on his backhand, which is his left hand, and it's gonna come down to his feet and his punch placement. Barboza doesn't have the best footwork. I should rephrase that. He doesn't have the quickest of feet. So this will be a tell within the fight, who can control the feet and who can put their opponent in a worse position. Barboza is also a guy who has a very high boxing skill set. This isn't going to be a rock'em sock'em robot match. This fight is for the purists of the sport, the fan base who really enjoy a tactical approach. Two guys who are going to be working their way methodically into trying to hurt the other person, walk them onto shots. With Barboza Jr., he's never fought a 12-round fight, so this championship rounds will come into play. It'll be interesting if he can hold his output up throughout the 12 rounds. Conditioning will come into factor. We'll wait later next week for you guys to hear my opinion and my prediction of this fight. For now, let's keep it to the stats. Let's take a closer look at Arnold Barboza Jr. Guys, Barboza Jr. is 31-0 with 11 knockouts. He currently is ranked number 10 in the world at 140 pounds and carries into the ring a 36% career knockout to win ratio. The 33-year-old American is an orthodox fighter standing at 5'9" with a 72-inch reach. We last saw him fight Jose Ramirez, 29-1, UD in the 10th. Sean McComb, 18-1, split decision in the 10th. Najeni, 31-3, knockout in the 8th. Jose Pedraza, 29-4, UD in the 10th. Zarilla, 16-0, UD in the 10th. He is coming off an impressive victory over Jose Ramirez, but if you look at the fight before against McComb, McComb was a tricky southpaw that gave Barboza fits. Barboza got through it, learned a lot of lessons, won a split decision. So with that in mind, I'm very interested to see what lessons he's taken from the McComb fight, because we remember Catterall is similar to McComb in stance style, both being a southpaw. They fight a little bit differently. Catterall fights more at a split stance, and he uses his feet to out-angle his opponents. Another fight within the fight is to see what Barboza took with him from that McComb victory. Let's take a closer look at Jack Catterall. Guys, Jack's 30-1 with 13 knockouts. He's currently ranked number 4 in the world at 140 pounds and carries into the ring a 43% career knockout to win ratio. The Brit is 31 years old. He's a southpaw standing at 5'7" with a 69-inch reach. His adoring fans know him as El Gato. We last saw him fight Regis Prograis, 29-2, UD in the 12th. Josh Taylor, 19-1, UD in the 12th. Linares, 47-8, UD in the 12th. Dara Foley, 22-4, UD in the 10th, and Josh Taylor, the first time 18-0, lost a split decision, his only loss. Guys, we always talk about fighters show us who they are as fans from how they handle defeat. Catterall's only defeat was a very controversial split decision loss to Josh Taylor. Rather than sort of moaning about it and moping, he gets back on the wagon, wins a few fights, fights Taylor again, and wins in convincing fashion. His only loss, he got it back. Going into this fight, he should be more motivated than ever. Side by side, both guys. Catterall's the younger guy. He's going to be a little bit shorter. I think that southpaw versus orthodox stance is going to be so interesting to see which fighter can implement their game plan. Like I already talked about, Catterall isn't going to kill you with his output. He's going to be a little bit more patient, and he likes finding his shots with accuracy. Barboza will carry a higher work rate. It will be interesting the longer this fight goes, how his conditioning holds up going into that 11th and 12th round. I do not want to predict anything right now. I think Catterall has a more well-rounded skill set. I think he has more tools and is a little bit more dangerous due to his experience. He's fought world champions before. For Barboza, the time is now. He's 33 years old. This is his opportunity to put his name on the map. With a scalp like Catterall and being undefeated, there really isn't any room to go other than up for Barboza. You'd have to think that if he gets his victory, he puts himself in a world title position. The same with Jack Catterall. I want to ask you guys before I let you go, Vegas has this fight not a 2-1, but a 3-1. Barboza Jr. is a 3-1 underdog, meaning if you put $100 on Barboza, you get 300 in return. So with that in mind, do you think the American could go into Manchester and upset the odds? Also, because it is in Catterall's backyard, you'd have to think that it's going to be really difficult for Barboza to win a decision. So I'm interested to see how aggressive he's going to be with his power shots. He's well trained on fighting from the outside as well as the inside. It's going to be the feet game as well, like I talked about earlier. Who's going to be able to control that front foot? And will Catterall be able to put Barboza in interesting predicaments by Barboza's aggression, putting himself out of position and setting Catterall up to counter with that gorgeous straight left hand of his? So all in all, in due time, we'll have these answers. For now, you guys in the comments section below, who wins this fight? Who do you like? Will we see the Brit with his hand raised, Catterall, or the American Barboza? Let me know in the comments section below.